Welcome to the New Africa, the channel that's changing how the world sees Africa. From groundbreaking mega projects to untold success stories, from vibrant cultures to bold innovations, this is the Africa they don't show you on the news. The New Africa, in changing the narration. Subscribe and be part of the movement rewriting Africa's story, with pride, power, and purpose.
Egypt's greatest weapon is not an army, it's the Nile. Africa is no longer waiting for a savior. We are no longer asking to be rescued. We are rising, we are building, we are becoming, with our own hands, our own minds, and the wealth of our own soil. And Egypt is living proof. In a land where 96% is desert, one river, the Nile, sparked a national transformation. That river didn't just quench thirst, it lit cities, grew food, created jobs, and attracted the world. This isn't charity, this is African excellence in motion. This is the New Africa, fearless, purposeful, unstoppable. Our power isn't borrowed, it blooms from our own land and vision. Imagine waking up each morning in a land where the sky rarely cries. A land where clouds pass without offering rain. Where the air is so dry it cracks your lips and your crops. This is Egypt, a country where over 96% of the land is pure desert. Here, the sun is not just warm, it scorches. Temperatures regularly rise beyond 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, turning metal roofs into frying pans and the streets into furnaces. In Cairo, the capital, less than 25 mm of rain falls per year, less than a bottle of water spread across months. And in other regions, years can pass without a single drop. But it's not just the heat. Each spring, the sky turns yellow. The Khamsin winds, hot and angry, rush in from the desert at over 140 kilometers per hour. They bring sand that blinds the eyes, clogs the lungs, and buries entire streets in dust. The air becomes unbreathable. Now imagine trying to grow food in this, raising a family, building a city, running a business. And you begin to understand, life in Egypt isn't just hard. It's a constant battle against nature itself. And yet, over 100 million Egyptians live here. Not scattered, but tightly packed along a thin green thread stretching from the south to the north. This narrow corridor, less than 5% of the country's landmass, is the only place where life can truly flourish. For most of the world, this would be a death sentence. But for Egypt, this was a call to action. The Egyptians didn't surrender to the sand. They strategized. They engineered. They adapted. They turned one impossibility into a blueprint for survival. Egypt should have been a cautionary tale, but it became a case study in courage. In a land that offered no mercy, Egyptians built systems that gave life. And this is the true power of Africa. Where others would have fled, we innovate. Where the earth says no, we say now. In changing the narration, Egypt didn't just survive the desert. They turned adversity into Africa's greatest advantage. The Nile doesn't only bring water, it brings light. Since the construction of the Aswan High Dam, Egypt has been generating 2.1 gigawatts of clean, renewable hydropower. This one river project once supplied up to 15% of Egypt's electricity needs. Today, it continues to anchor the grid, powering homes, electrifying industries, and illuminating schools and hospitals. Over 93% of rural communities and nearly 100% of urban centers are now electrified. This is not just about infrastructure. It's about human dignity, about children doing homework under real light, about entrepreneurs powering their machines, and about villages joining the digital age. Nile hydropower has created hundreds of thousands of direct and indirect jobs in energy, utilities, construction, and tech. A single river powers a nation. Nile electricity affords opportunity and lights the way for Africa's future. Egypt knew that to grow its economy, it had to first grow its food. Through Nile-fed mega projects like Toshka, New Delta, and East Owinet, Egypt has reclaimed over 1.1 million hectares of desert land. This reclaimed farmland feeds over 100 million people. But Egypt didn't stop there. It became a global food exporter. In 2023 alone, Egypt exported 7.5 million tons of agricultural products, earning over $8.8 billion USD. Oranges, potatoes, onions, grapes, and dates from Egyptian fields now feed parts of Europe and the Middle East. Today, agriculture accounts for 15% of GDP and employs 20 to 28% of the workforce, supporting millions of families and entire supply chains from rural farms to global ports. Egypt transformed its farmland into Africa's table. This is African strategy yielding global harvests. The Nile is Egypt's only significant source of fresh water, yet it supplies clean water to 96.9% of the population. Urban access is virtually universal. Even in rural areas, over 93% of households now have access to safe water. But beyond survival, the Nile breathes life into Egypt's soul. More than 13 million tourists visited in 2023, drawn to its banks, its stories, its ancient marvels. Tourism along the Nile supports millions of jobs, from guides and hotel staff to artisans and chefs. Every drop of this river drives commerce, preserves identity, and inspires awe. One river, countless gifts, health, heritage, unity, and revenue. The Nile is Egypt's heart and our story's soul. Egypt's transformation was not a Western miracle. It was an African decision, a river used wisely, a people moving with purpose. And across Africa, we have more than rivers. We have sun, wind, land, youth, wisdom, and courage. Let this be a message to every African and every member of the diaspora. We do not need others to save us. We were never broken. We only needed to believe, to organize, and to act. And when we do, we don't just survive. We lead. We uplift. We become strategic nations, nations that don't ask for help, but offer it. In rewriting Africa's story, we say it loud. We are no longer in need. We are the need. We are acting. We are delivering. Do you believe in African brilliance? In African-built solutions? Then this is your home. Like, share, subscribe. Stand with the new Africa. Let's build a future that is proud, powerful, and purely ours. Story by story, river by river, future by future.